The Wind River Range is majestic, and there's not much country like it in the world. To when I can ride out my horse on a cool morning and hear a wolf somewhere. I am a range rider and cowboy in the Wind River Mountains in Wyoming. This is wild country. You know, what was it, 60 years ago, we were still riding around shooting wolves and bears, and that's not gonna work anymore. We do have to find a way to coexist.
This project involves herding cattle to reduce vulnerability to depredation by grizzly bears and wolves, and go from a situation of conflict to one of coexistence. We're trying to manage cattle a little bit more like bison so that they have a stronger herd instinct to then have the safety in numbers that the herd provides. Probably the hardest thing is unlearning what we think we already know.
For a long time, we've been wanting these cattle to spread out on this range to evenly take the grass. And if you look at like muskox, bison, zebu, I mean all the wild critters across the country, how do you see them grazing? One giant group typically. And when they move, they all move together. The fundamentals are ridiculously easy to rekindle the mothering muskox instinct is what I like to call it, to where if a grizzly or say wolf comes, the cattle will bunch up and more or less kind of protect their calves. They'll say, oh no, there's a grizzly bear here. Find their calf and bring them all together. I'm gonna ride to them, ask them to pick up their calves, and probably just ride behind them once or twice. Say, hey, this area is no good now for you. I'd like for you to move. And if they do, I'll probably back off a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and start walking behind them. That way, some of these cows will stop and want to graze. I'll ride to them and apply pressure to them again. Maybe just step too forward until they pick their head up and say, he's too close. I better get to walking again. There is a point to where one guy can move 600 head. I can put these cattle in certain areas where haven't been grazed and they'll stay in a relative group. Instead of taking them to a pasture and just letting them spread out all over the place. The grizzlies and wolves aren't gonna look at that big bunch of 600 cows and say, I can't take on that many cattle to get one calf.
Strategies like grazing management are important because they make it possible to coexist with potential predators so that we can have ranching and we can have large carnivores. We can have a West that has grizzly bears, that has cowboys and cowgirls, and people are able to live on the land in a way that makes sense with the native wildlife.